Welcome in to another edition of Ravens Rundown. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will look into OTA position battles. I have a few different position battles that we want to dive into and make some predictions on how they will work out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the running back position. JK Dobbins and Gus Edwards both competing to be RB1. And both guys coming off injuries last year, missing 2021. And 2020 was the last time that we can pull up a comparable statistic of the two of them. Dobbins over 800 yards that year. Gus Edwards with over 700 yards. Dobbins had more touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. Edwards had 6, and his yards per carry was about a yard higher than Edwards was, and did so with less carries than Edwards did that year as well. You look at the Ravens depth chart, Dobbins is your number 1 going into OTAs as we go through this offseason. Edwards number 2, but then I think you have some real depth at this position. Mike Davis you bring in from Atlanta. Justice Hill, I still think is somebody that could break out and potentially be a good back if he makes the roster. And then there's Tyler Beatty, who you drafted from Mizzou as well. A lot of depth there at that running back position. We know that the Ravens needed depth at the running back spots after all the injuries they suffered in 2021. I think they're pretty good to go at this position in 2022. So I want to hear from you guys. Who will lead the Ravens running back room in 2022? Will it be JK Dobbins? Will it be Gus Edwards? Will it be someone else? Tell us in the comments section. Type JD for JK Dobbins. Type GE, not for General Electric, but for Gus Edwards in the comments section below. JD for JK Dobbins, GE for Gus Edwards. Now, I lean towards Dobbins, but the main thing here is that this running back room will be by committee. Whoever has the hot hand, depending on the day, will be how this ultimately shapes out and goes. I don't think it really matters who your running back number 1 is, that you go with the hot hand depending on the day. I think more times than not, it's probably Dobbins, but I think there will be days that we see Gus Edwards have his too, and maybe some of these other guys. So that's where I look at with this running back position. Your strength is in the numbers that you have at that spot for the Ravens there. Let's talk about the wide receiver 2 position battle. Rashad Bateman is your wide receiver 1. That's pretty clear. But when it comes to that number 2 spot, you have several candidates to look at, whether it's Devin or James or Tylan. These 3 guys here all competing for that number 2 spot. And you pull up the depth chart. Here's where things stack up heading in to these OTAs, and we're in the offseason right now. You can see 2, 3, 4, but it's not for certain that it's all going to shape out this way. This is a true competition for that number 2 spot. Now, I'll say this, folks. I would not sleep on Tylan Wallace. Tylan Wallace coming off an injury. He has not seen the light of day yet. He has not had that breakout that I think Tylan Wallace is capable of. He was terrific at Oklahoma State. Bolitnikoff Award winner, All-American wide receiver, a true possession receiver. And for me, he is somebody that maybe he's not wide receiver 2 when the season begins as we go through the offseason and such. But if he is given the opportunity, if he can work his way up there, he is someone I'm watching for that at the end of the day could be the answer the Ravens are looking for. I know Devin is the popular choice, that he's the name that a lot of people are looking at, especially with his success on the special team side of things, but don't sleep on Tylan Wallace to potentially be the number 2 receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. I want to hear from you guys. Over under, our pin comment today, will Tylan Wallace have over or under 500 receiving yards in 2022? Let me know in the comment section. Over, you for under. The left guard spot is going to be pretty fascinating to follow. You have the other 4 offensive line spots are in pretty good shape, but the left guard spot is for anyone's taking at this point. Ben Cleveland, Tyree Phillips, and Ben Powers all competing for that spot. Cleveland the favorite, to take that spot as of right now, but those three all have a chance when it's all said and done to end up with that starting role. It certainly hasn't been decided. I would lean towards Cleveland. I think Johnson will make the team here, but Ben Powers, I would expect, probably is the odd man out to get cut. Now, here's the thing. With not much separation between these three guys, the biggest factor in all of this might just simply come down to health. Look, it is no secret that John Harbaugh puts together some of the toughest offseason conditioning programs in the entire league. And it might just come down to a battle of the fittest, right? Who can get through this offseason and just be healthy to get a spot at that starting left tackle spot? Health might be the biggest factor when it's all said and done for that left guard spot of who gets to be the starter when it's all said and done. Who's going to be healthy at the end of the day might be the deciding factor here between those three guys. Ravens Rundown, we are bringing you content each and every day here on the channel. Best part about it, it is absolutely free, 100%. Turn on those notifications, join the flock, and see what we are doing each and every day. And for those of you that are already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and type gang in the comments section if you are subscribed to Ravens Rundown. YouTube.com/RavensTV is where you can subscribe so you can see videos about your Baltimore Ravens each and every day. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe now and then jump back in the comment section, type gang, and let me know that you subscribe to the channel. All right, another position battle I want to pay attention to is the strong side linebacker position. Two guys going for this spot, Bowser and Ferguson. And the most comparable statistics that we have to go off because of injury is back to 2020 with these two. Bowser in 2020, the number isn't lying there. I had to tell producer Jeremy twice that this was real because we didn't believe this number. 3 interceptions Bowser had in 2020 at a linebacker spot. Yes, that happened. And then Jalen Ferguson, the tackle numbers were similar. He had more tackles for loss than Bowser did, 7 compared to 4. But the 3 turnovers certainly jump off the page for Bowser there. You look at the depth chart for the linebacker spots. As you can see, a position of strength for the Ravens there with Patrick Queen and company there. I mean, this is a really good group that the Ravens have. Now, will I lean towards Bowser for this spot to beat out Jalen Ferguson and eventually be the strong side starting linebacker here? Here's one thing I will say to look forward to. This is just a temporary thing. This is just putting a Band-Aid on this position for now because the future of this spot goes to the one and only David Ojabo out of Michigan. He is terrific, folks. He would have been a first-round pick if it weren't for injury. And so I think what is likely to happen with David this year is that the Ravens are going to take their time, let him recover from that injury that he suffered. This might even be like a redshirt year of sorts for him. So while Bowser or Ferguson will be the starter this year, and I lean towards Bowser, that's just a temporary thing. This is David's job in the future. He will be the strong side linebacker at the end of the day when it's all said and done. So that's what I'm looking for at this point. So before we go, I want to hear from you guys. Who's your favorite new Ravens player? When you look at this roster and some of the additions that were made, we mentioned David, obviously a lot of excitement about Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum coming in. If you had to give me one name, and those are just guys that were drafted. Now, we haven't even talked about some of the free agent moves like Marcus Williams and company. Give me a name. Maybe give me 2 names. I don't care. Tell me in the comments section. Who is your favorite new Ravens player? And make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are bringing you Ravens content every single day as we count you down to kickoff. We'll be all over the OTAs, training camp coming up here pretty soon as well, preseason, all of that. Go ahead and subscribe now so you never miss a moment, and we'll count you down to kickoff. If you're a true Ravens fan, then you got to be subscribed to the channel. That's the only way. Make sure to subscribe. You won't regret it. YouTube.com/RavensTV.